I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
Invasive species are one of the biggest issues facing our natural resources and the environment today. Think of things like Dutch elm disease, the spotted lanternfly, and cats. Perhaps the most dangerous of these is the Homo caput stercoris, commonly referred to as the front plater. An invasive species coming from New York, New Jersey, and anywhere else that has a license plate on the front of their car. The biggest threat from this pest is the spread of excrement. These savages cause harm to many native species and have even spawned an entirely new one, the Beltsville lake monster. Here at the DeWeather Institute for Climate Knowledge, we have a dedicated group of volunteers working tirelessly to clean up the mess. The team of emergency responders for dispersion and skimming, or the turds. But the job is just too big, and we can't do it without your help. So be a hero, be a turd. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another night and another season, for that matter, of Indy Pro 2000 Official Series racing coming up here on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth by Sebastian Kinder and James Watson, and we are kicking things off here at the Watkins Glen International Circuit. Oh my goodness. Boys, you just came off of a barn burner in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series race. What in the heck are you thinking we're going to see out here tonight?
We're gonna see a lot of the same. You know, all the previous SOF races here at the Glen have been absolutely fantastic with crazy finishes. And even in some of the races this week have been crazy and right down to the wire. And this field is absolutely huge. We have 3 splits tonight. This is absolutely incredible, which means this split is ridiculously deep.
Yeah, that's kind of putting it mildly here. The number 1's going to belong to Graham Sanders, John Bedifer, Carlos Villa. The top 3, all from Team Geodesic. Jason Owens, who's pretty darn good in these cars, is the 19 in this one. Nagisa Yashikawa is the 8. Mike Holler is the 12. These are guys we see up front week in and week out. Seb, this is going to be really, really intense.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually looking forward to this. As James said, like 20 people in this session, real splits. Yeah, that is going to be insane. And as you said, like seeing those guys like Mike Holler, J-Dub, Nagisa, all just mid-numbered, it feels kind of weird, to be honest.
Taking a look at the license here, Diego Ortiz is the lowest licensed driver. He's a C license with a 2573 iRating. Let me see. Where is Graham here? Graham Sanders, an A license, 7235 for the iRating. This split is a 3656. You don't want to necessarily put too much stock into week number 1, but when the split is this strong, you're going to earn a ton of points here.
Yeah, this is a huge race. This is a huge race for those with serious championship hopes. You cannot... it's stressful when you start out a season and you're already having to think about points, but that's true. Like, with how big this SOF race is, you can't afford to screw it up. You need these points, straight up. This one's going to be pretty impressive here. I'll show you the best lap times for everybody. Graham Sanders going fastest on lap number 1, 1 minute 40.047 seconds. Ted Burns, Everett Paddock, your top 3 right now. No surprise, we saw these names at the front last season. But Seb, the other big thing that comes into play tonight, this is an entirely new Watkins Glen. The shape is the same. Everything else about this racetrack is very different from how these drivers have run it in the past.
Exactly. I would like to point out a big difference between last scan and today's scan is turn 1, and especially that runoff. Before you could go as far as you could go on the runoff, and iRacing won't say anything. Now, if you run off, you get an X, and if you stay too long out there, you get a slowdown penalty. So that's something very important to notice. Of course, this is a very different asphalt than last scan, so the group will be different. And to be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch, that's for sure. Christian Arana jumping up to second quick on the speed charts, but John Badefer to the top of the charts, 139.990, only driver thus far in the 1 minute 39 second range. This is really going to come into play in a big way over the course of this race. You almost have to be at the front of the field for this one. James, this race is only 18 laps long. We say only, but it definitely kind of puts you in a position where you may have to make a move early on.
It kind of depends. The draft is still, woo, that's a big wiggle. You're still going to be in a huge draft lock from turn 1 all the way through the bus stop. So unless you can make the move and pull away, it's kind of be inconsequential because they're going to be right behind you no matter what anyways.
New quick time, top of the board, Everett Paddock, 1 minute 39.725. Ted Burns, John Badefer, your top 3. Christian Arana working his way around to complete lap number 2. Chris Preston also out on the racetrack still, as is Kylo Ciacelli and Diego Ortiz. Man, this one has the potential to be pretty wild. And quite frankly, the entire season schedule is shaping up to be pretty darn cool. Next week, we run the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps out there in Liège, Belgium. Following it up with the Phoenix Oval, then Brands Hatch, Sebring, a new venue for the PM18s, at least what we've shown of them here on the National Racing Network, in Summit Point Raceway, then Richmond Raceway, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, the artist known commonly as Interlagos down there in Brazil.
Yes!
We're going back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval. Yes. The Red Bull Ring, Iowa Speedway, and Road Atlanta. Yes.
If you listen closely, you can hear happy French noises.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. The Charlotte, it's the Roval. So,
And it's unfortunately not the Deshane Sag.
yeah, it's all right. But there's only so many gifts that the iRacing scheduling gods can give us here. All in all, though, Brands Hatch, that's going to be a new venue for us. Sebring, we saw a great race there last season. There's really a lot to look forward to in this schedule here, Seb.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the one I would actually look more forward to is actually Brands Hatch. It's a very simple track, but it's a reason why it was loved by so many back there. It's like line corners, but they're all so technical and different, and the track has so many character. Yeah, I mean that would be one of my favorite. I mean, you know, I really like Interlagos, Red Bull Ring, and Spa, but I would say either the ovals or Brands Hatch would be my most look forward.
Yeah,
I always like Brands Hatch because the outline of the track looks like a musical note to me.
That's random.
Now I'm gonna have to look at this again.
Hang on.
Yes, Seb will be
Google
right
is my
back.
friend.
So cars are starting to grid up here, and let's show you the starting lineup here for tonight's race. Or at least we're going to try to show you the starting lineup for tonight's race anyway. Starting.
Holy guacamole! You're right, James.
Told you. Now that I made the entire home audience look up the track outline for Brands Hatch.
Yes. Starting on the front row for tonight's 18-lap race here at Watkins Glen, Everett Paddock and Christian Arana. Row number 2 going to have Ted Burns and John Betafer. Graham Sanders, David Porcelli on row number 3. Carlos Villa, Chris Preston on row number 4. Frank Wynn, Nagisa Yashikawa on row 5. Andrew Berry, Mike Holler on row number 6. Row 7 is going to have Kylo Ciacelli and Christopher Chitterling. Rod Eskew and Jason Owens on row number 8. J.W. Miller, Mike Carpenter on row 9. And rounding out the field tonight, Nate Lewis and Diego Ortiz. There's your full starting lineup there, at least in, well, lineup form on the left-hand side of the screen. There we go. So we'll let the grid sit up here for just a moment anyway, let you get a nice look at the field here as we are getting ready to roll off for 18 laps around the Watkins Glen International Circuit. Oh my goodness. I'm still jacked up from the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series race here. This one's going to be a ton of fun. Guys, let's talk through the lap a little bit here. You run down the hill, you head into the 90. As Seb mentioned, you don't have access to the runoff anymore. That really changes how you have to drive turn 1 at this racetrack.
Well, if you hit it right, you can keep the right side of the car on the very outside edge of the red and orange curbing and keep it from getting a 1X. It takes a little finesse and you can miss it easy, but it is possible to use the runoff to your advantage still. You just got to be a little more sneaky about it.
So now, Seb, they've come through turn number 2, working their way up the hill through turns 3 and 4. They'll make the right-hand turn at turn number 5, but this is entirely on throttle, getting up through the gearbox for the big blast down the back straightaway.
Exactly. Welcome to what I call the oval part. Flat out. Use your brain, make sure you're clear, and this is where you have to place your move. Whether you want to play safe or just go guns blazing, it's up to you.
As they make their way down this long back straightaway, they're going to head towards the inner loop, which the curbing profile here, James, is very different, but the ultimate layout of the corner is still the same. you have to make the corner entry right, and the car really wants to sort of snap itself around on corner exit.
Yeah, you have to be really careful on how you take that first curb. It's a lot higher, so if you clobber it like you used to, you send your car airborne, and chances are you're not really going to stick the landing. So, pretty much. So, it's one of those nut up and ball out corners. You're going to get a lot of time if you can go over the curb, but chances are, yeah, you're going to land, and it's going to go, nope, and you're going to say hi to the new reprofiled guardrail and off track right over there.
So, Seb, now we're working our way down through the boot. The carousel opens up in much the same way as it did before. Obviously, with a little bit more grip, you might be a little bit riskier coming out of the carousel. But this next corner into the heel of the boot, I think it is, you're turning uphill. It feels like the corner narrows almost the entire time you're in it.
Yeah, it kind of feels like off-banking somewhat. I would always take a bit of a wide entry and just cut across that corner, but I think it's one of the best corners of the track.
James, now heading into the toe of the boot, this is another fantastic passing zone. Long straightaway, you can really set the run up here, but you had better make the move early because this corner will jump out and bite you in a big way too.
Yeah, it's a kind of a decent decline, so it kind of upsets your braking. If you carry it a little too late, like you're thinking you're on other parts of the track, you're gonna go, well, before it would really kill you because there was gravel there, but now not so much, so you can afford to play with that a little more.
Turn 9 is off camber, slides away from you. I don't know if that reprofiling has changed at all, but turn 9 was very, very treacherous as you re-enter the classic layout of the racetrack. Turn 10 is a very quick left-hander. You got to get way on the binders down here for turn number 11. A final 90-degree right-hand corner that leads you off onto the front straightaway. A fantastic night of racing going to wrap up here with the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. We are looking forward to this one in a very, very big way, race fans. Green flags in the air. We're underway here at Watkins Glen. Everybody through cleanly so far, making their way up the S's. Paddock, Burns, Arana, Betafort, Sanders, Porcelli going to be battling. These guys put on some great shows late. Burns and Arana side by side down to the bus stop.
Ooh, and someone's on the roll.
Christian Arana way off the racetrack. I don't know how he didn't hit anything. What a save.
Wow.
Oh, one car going around.
Big
wreck.
Oh my God!
Carlos Villa, Chris Preston, way out of shape.
Is this how baby cars are made?
Let's get you a look at it here on the NRN Instant Replay. See what happened here. Oh, man, that was just Punterino, too. Not the smartest of moves there.
Oh, big smooth move of the race already?
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty solid candidate for it here. Going to take Carlos Villa out of this race. Chris Preston, Diego Ortiz also going to be involved. Villa not going to be happy with that one. Christian Arana has rejoined the field back in 17th position. He's down 15 from where he qualified. Couple of very hard chargers early on. Andrew Berry and Kylo Ciacelli. Both of those drivers are up 5 spots. Really tight battle here. Christopher Chitterling, Nagisi Ashikawa, and Mike Holler. Mike Holler is a guy we are absolutely going to see try to charge through this field.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, if I can make it redirect your attention to the start and how great Paddock was, the outside lane wasn't prepared.
Yeah, it almost... Oh, there's contact! Holler's going to go around! Mike Holler, Christopher Chitterling making contact at the bus stop. That's going to spin Holler back towards the back of the pack. The 7 of Christian Arana having another off track there as well.
How does Mike not have worse damage? That is insane.
Holler making the big move down to the inside through the bus stop. There's the contact. I don't think Mike Holler hit anything there.
No, but like...
That's insane.
Serious.
Wow, it's a lot of chaos early on.
Everett Paddock holding on to the race lead over Ted Burns, John Bedifer, Graham Sanders. Bedifer and Sanders, part of that geodesic team. Ted Burns' car just ahead of them, a similar-ish paint job, at least similar colors anyway. But not team cars to Bedifer and Sanders. My goodness. Early action here at Watkins Glen International.
Told you.
I mean, the IP2K stuff has always been entertaining. So, yeah. Ooh, that's a...
Show you the licenses on these drivers. We talked about it a little bit. This strength of field is absolutely insane, and some very good drivers already out of this race early on in Carlos Villa and Chris Preston.
Yeah, that's unexpected for sure.
Now, James, can I ask you something? So, how would you set up the car for this track? Would you want more downforce or more straight line speed?
It depends on how settled the car is. If you can drive it to where you're not worried about the rear kicking out too much and you have good front end grip, you can tune some of the wing out to help on the straightaways. But if you're not content with how the car is getting through the corners and you're not happy being on the absolute terrifying edge the whole race, you're gonna want to put a little more wing into it and hope you can stay up in the fray through the draft.
Trying to get a little bit of a close-up on the cars here, guys. Is there anything you can see visually that says this car is running more downforce than that car? I mean, obviously, if the wing angles are really extreme, you can tell. But it almost seems like it's more of just a feel thing.
Yeah, I lack the brain power to be able to figure that out just by looking at it. So, shrug.
I think we'll see later when the car with less downforce that will start to struggle with the tires, and the car with more downforce they will feel blocked behind those lower downforce car in the corners.
You almost wonder if Ted Burns doesn't have a little bit less downforce, because you can see the geodesic cars make up some ground in the corners, but they're just not able to get the same power down, and Burns is able to open things up just a little bit on the straightaways.
And this profits Everett Paddock, who always has that half a second advantage, and that protects him. Very interesting how the both GDC cars run out of this corner, like kind of wide.
The racing at the front here is pretty good. We've got another nice battle here. Back in the pack a little bit as well. Jason Owens, Rod Eskew, Nagisa Yashikawa, J.W. Miller, and Michael Carpenter. All 5 of these cars running nose to tail. This is 9th back through 13th position. And it does sort of go to show that if you get a little bit ahead, the clean air can definitely play a huge advantage.
Yeah, I want to give some shout-outs, but knowing how much of a curse I am whenever I point out anything, I'm just going to shut up.
Don't say anything.
That's probably
Even
not the worst
thinking
idea
it.
you've ever had there, James.
I know. Sometimes I have good ideas. Don't expect them though. I wouldn't count on them.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
you don't wreck when you have those ideas.
J.W. Miller and Mike Carpenter almost getting together. Here's the move by Rod Eskew to get around Jason Owens. Nagisa Yashikawa going to be there as well. Take a look here, back at the front of the field. Still Everett Paddock, Ted Burns, John Badeford, Graham Sanders, David Porcelli has caught up to this group as well. Then you got to go back 6 seconds to find Andrew Berry, and some pretty substantial gaps there from 6th back to 10th place, or 9th place, Rod Eskew. Then that little bit of a tighter battle with Eskew, Owens, and Yashikawa. But we're going to stay right up here at the front of the field because this racing has been pretty darn good here. Chris Preston checking in the comments saying he hit the brakes. Yeah, that I don't know. That's so tough. When you're looking at the carousel, you feel like you're going to be the slightest bit offline. That's just kind of the instinct, isn't it?
Ooh!
Wow, what a pass by Badeford into the bus stop.
Yeah, it's not something you want to do because you could really, at the very least, you don't have to hit the brakes through the carousel on the car. You can kind of modulate. You're not going through flat out at any means, but you can at least modulate the throttle and your steering to carry as much speed as you can. So if he did hit the brakes, then yeah, obviously we can't, at least from my end, I can't look at the telemetry and speak on that.
Matt Wagner checking in the comments saying, good luck, nerds. Talk to you later. Also wished everybody a safe Christmas. Said he had a 4X coming to the line that he's going to blame on Watt Spin.
That's
Always
fair.
blame on what spin.
Yeah, we'll give you that. James was only about 17 seconds behind Matt Wagner in that last Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series race.
Rage.
Yeah, rage. Yeah, we were miserable during that race.
Top 5 definitely closing up now. Everett Paddock down to just a couple of car lengths here over John Badeford. Ted Burns is closing back in. Graham Sanders, David Porcelli, all right there as well. Let's take a look here and go on board with David Porcelli here as he comes up the S's and down the backstretch. Oh, wow, hold up here. We have got a dogfight going on. Beta for a second, side by side out of the carousel.
Come on!
Burns back to the inside. Oh, man, what a... Wow. Gutsy move by Ted Burns. He spun and wrecked. He just didn't finish it.
Yeah. Man, this is, I'm loving this. There's starting to become a bit of a rivalry between Teddy B and the Geodesic guys, and we're starting to see it because, man, this is some hard racing. This is beautiful.
Oh, and David...
You know who loves it more than us right now watching this? One
Everett
Everett Paddock. Yes, sir.
By the way here, guys, the comments are getting spicy.
Oh, boy.
Carlos Villa checking in saying, I didn't, people. Should stop saying things without knowing. Yeah, Chris Preston checking right back in. So he didn't go from 180 to 160 quickly. Guys, feel free to use the comments of the video here as a personal fisticuffs area. We appreciate the engagement. John Badeford, as a result of all of this, is now in second, holding off Graham Sanders, Ted Burns, and Porcelli. The big winner in that, though, like you guys talked about, Everett Paddock, the lead now out to almost 1 second.
And now we're seeing what you just mentioned, Chris. Yes, Ted has more than force. Look at this. He just went straight past the number 1 car of Graham. That's insane.
I just can't get over the fact that they were all side by side going through, entering the bus stop like we were on the pace lap.
Yes. Porcelli may get a decent run here on Graham Sanders. We'll see what it's going to look like at corner exit. Sanders going to have the great drag, though, on Ted Burns. Tried to sell him a little bit of a dummy on corner exit. Won't make the move into turn number 8.
Wow, the comments is like it's a boxing ring.
And I'm here for it.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Isn't that a trademark phrase? Can't we get
Yeah,
for saying that on
yeah,
air?
yeah. We can get, well. If somebody from Michael Buffer's camp is listening, please don't sue us. But Burns Sanders, oh man, they're still side by side. What a run by Ted Burns up the hill! He's not going to get any drafting help unless Porcelli gets out in line with him.
He doesn't need it. Look at that straight line speed.
Oh man. Wow, just absolutely chops the nose off of Graham Sanders. Oh my goodness. I say, and again, Everett Paddock now out to a almost 1.5 second lead over John Badifer.
I missed this.
Yes. I'll tell you what, Graham Sanders is wide every time through the exit at turn number 8. It's got to be costing him a little bit of speed there. I mean, you can see it. He lost a car length and a half.
Yeah, I still don't. To me, it doesn't look beautiful to me.
At this point now, Badifer really needs Graham Sanders to get around Ted Burns because those two cars are going to have to work basically in lockstep if they're going to catch up to Everett Paddock. We're already past the halfway point in this race. Badifer has the fastest lap of the race, but these guys are now running. I mean, that last lap for Badifer was almost a second off of his quick lap. Everett Paddock, very consistent. Best lap of 1 minute 40.4.
Each time. Oh, he's in the grass.
Oh, Badifer's off the racetrack.
Is that a slowdown? Maybe.
It could be. That's one of the things that has been discussed in the forums pretty heavily is you don't have to serve the slowdown instantaneously. Know where the right time and place on the racetrack to serve a slowdown is.
Very sneaky, sis.
Every time Badifer has to defend. Every time Badifer has to defend from Theodore, this is Everett Paddock rubbing his hand and saying, "Good, keep fighting."
Yeah, let's show you the intervals here. It is a 1.9 second lead, just about anyway, for Everett Paddock over John Badifer. Then you have Burns, Sanders, and Porcelli all very close. And then we go 9 seconds back to find Andrew Berry. Porcelli really driving it deep into turn 1 that time. That's one of those places I would imagine it kind of deceptively feels like you can make up a lot of ground there. And ultimately, if you don't run the corners smoothly, it's just going to cost you time in the end.
Ooh. We're not going to see 3 wide, are we?
I hope so. Burns down to the inside.
God.
He gets the pass made. Oh! Sanders off the racetrack. Graham Sanders going to fall back to 5th. That puts Ted Burns up to 2nd. Bedeford now holding on to 3rd. And I'll tell you what, guys, that was an instance of Graham Sanders pushing Ted Burns there.
Yeah.
That's risky if he did, because you can't really seem to bump draft in these cars anymore. I know in a race we ran earlier this week, Wes tried giving me a small bump draft early on in the race, and just the tiniest little tap, and it completely ruined his front wing, and he was 2 seconds slower the entire race. So I hope for Graham's sake he didn't, because yeah, that's going to be pretty much a race-ending deal.
I will say, maybe not a bump draft, but it was Sanders directly in line behind Ted Burns. He didn't pull out and give his teammate any help. And quite frankly, now we're starting to see the speed difference. Ted Burns has opened up almost a half second here on John Bedeford.
Yeah, it seems like, Graham was right in Theodore's rear diffuser.
Let's take a look at this one again here on the instant replay. Sanders tucked right up in line. Oh, that's what you talked about, James. Hit the curb a little bit too much, and it just launched that car right straight up in the air.
Yeah. Man, there's not going to be any grass at the bus stop after this race.
That's good.
I say there's usually not much anyway, but...
That means we can spend less on mowing the grass. That means more budget.
I don't know if Watkins Glen does something similar, but Pocono Raceway actually has a group of goats that they use to maintain the grass there throughout the course of the year. They take them to a farm on race weekends.
That's what we do at Sonoma as well.
So there's a bit of hothead and mog. There we go. Between J.W. Miller and Christian Arana.
Oh.
JW just overcooking it on the entry into the bus stop. And we're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah. Impressive that he kept it out of the wall, though. Like,
it's even better when you actually drift and you see the camera panning on your sponsors.
yeah, right?
Graham Sanders setting the fastest lap of the race last time. Only car this race in the 1:39 bracket, adding a 6:53 to the end of it. Everybody else in the 1:40 range. So not much damage here to Graham Sanders' car. And in fact, he is right back on the rear wing of John Bedeford.
Yeah, it looks like they have it just set up perfectly to where he's as close as he can be without risking damage and maximizing how much of a push that he's given to John to get back up to Teddy.
That's the big thing. These two cars will absolutely work together over the next 5.5 laps to try to get caught up.
Ooh,
Sanders, wow. That almost looked like Bedeford almost let him go there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Take a look at that one on the replay. Watch John Bedeford, the car in front here. He gets out wide and just keeps it there.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too early to break out a corner, so yeah, he may just let him through.
I tell you what.
Say multi 21.
I mean, it's multi 12 right now. They have the willpower to do it.
Down to 5 laps remaining here at Watkins Glen International. Everett Paddock is your race leader. Let's run you back through at least the first handful of cars. Paddock took the lead at turn 1 and has not looked back after qualifying on the pole for this race. Got to watch some good racing back behind him. Headed up by this guy, Ted Burns, making his way through the bus stop. The DFR colors on the side of that number 4 machine. Burns is up 1 from where he started this race. Graham Sanders, oh, how about it? Hold up a second here. Let's wind this back. David Porcelli getting around John Bedifer into the bus stop. Oh, that was a dirty block. That was a full-on bizzle, in fact.
Oh.
Man, that's tight through there. Nice pass, though, by David Porcelli. That brings us back to third place running Graham Sanders. You see that car want to kick out just a little bit in the middle of turn 8 there. Makes you think he's got a little bit less downforce in that number 1 machine. David Porcelli running in the 4th position. His number 6 up 2 from where he started the race this evening. A beneficiary a little bit of some of the other incidents that we've had on the racetrack, especially Christian Arana, who is down 12 spots running in 14th. John Bedifer just back behind Porcelli. These 3 cars have been in lockstep for just about the entire duration of this race. Then we got to go all the way back towards turn number 1 to find Andrew Berry. He has Kylo Ciacelli right on the rear wing. Frank Wynn just a little bit further back. That's going to be 6th, 7th, and 8th. Then it's another 9 seconds back here to Nagisa Yoshikawa, Jason Owens. Couple of seconds back behind that. Trouble on the racetrack for Chris Chitterling. Slides it wide, takes the whole right side of that race car off.
Yep, that corner, it's very easy to do that.
It's still evil even today, unless you're driving a W12.
Not even then.
Yeah, I mean, who would want to run that W12? Why would you want to run it? Tell me, why would you?
Because it's fun.
All right, guys,
you're right.
Here's the instant replay. David Porcelli getting around Graham Sanders, and he did it organically. Out of turn 5 and into the bus stop. Again, another nice pass for David Porcelli, putting him up inside a podium position, and we're down to just 3 laps to go now.
It's ironic we were talking about the W12 because he just kind of breezed right by like he had DRS. That was a pretty effortless pass.
Oh, man, gets way out wide on the racetrack, though. That's going to let Sanders close right back in.
Huh.
Interesting lines for both Porcelli and Sanders through the S's. Porcelli going to try to hold the inside lane as much as he can. Oh, Porcelli way out on the curbs. He slides wide. Sanders down to the inside through the carousel. Fantastic pass back there by Graham Sanders.
I never thought about a dive bomb, but he felt better of it.
Yeah, that's part of this discussion of the strength of field is so big in this race. It's going to earn you a ton of points. It's really not worth it to crash yourself out of 5th trying to gain a spot or 2.
Yeah, sometimes you got to think of the bigger picture. I talked about
Oh, looks like
Bedifer
Bedifer went around. Bedifer was flat sideways that time through turn number 8.
Yeah, he looked like he went a bit too hard into that corner. And I don't understand why Sanders went in to block on the inside also. That's kind of weird.
And that's one of those where that will put a bunch of heat into the tires. You're not necessarily going to flat spot them like you would in the real world, but it is going to put some heat into them, and it almost takes a lap or two to get the car feeling real good again.
All right, round 3. Ding, ding.
Here comes Porcelli down the outside of the back straightaway. Again, low downforce on Porcelli's car. He makes that pass cleanly into the bus stop. Puts Graham Sanders back to the 4th position. And how about it, guys? We had 3 geodesic cars starting in the top 6 or 7. Right now, none of them are on the podium.
That is absolutely mind-blowing, mind-boggling, whatever word you want to use. This is not what any of us expected to see.
Ever since Theodore resisted to them, ooh, he almost lost it. Ever since Theodore resisted to them, like, they've been losing pace. I mean, Theodore has checked out completely. He kept 2 seconds behind Everett. And I thought Theodore would be the first one to fade away, but no. Impressive drive.
Ted Burns holding a 2 second. He's 2 seconds behind the race leader, but he has almost 4 seconds to this battle here between Porcelli, Sanders, and Betafer. White flag is out. 1 lap to go for Everett Paddock. The gap is huge, so we're going to stay right here on this battle until the last couple of corners. Where does Graham Sanders try to make the move? It's been interesting to watch Porcelli almost take a little bit of a defensive line up the hill here through the S's because he knows that Sanders is going to get the big run down the straightaway. Porcelli slides Sanders just a little bit wide.
Whoa.
Oh,
wow.
Repeatedly earlier.
Oh, here comes the cross under. Not quite close enough. Porcelli slides a line through the carousel. That's going to allow Sanders past. Betafer off the racetrack. Betafer right back in line now, but Porcelli has fallen back in line behind Graham Sanders.
Yes, smart one of Betafer to even if he doesn't try to move, just to pull into his mirror, that prevents Porcelli to try and overtake on Sanders.
Sanders again runs a little bit wide at turn 8, as does Ted Burns. The gap's sizable enough here. Let's pick up your race leader. Through turn number 11 for the final time. Twin checkers will go in the air. Round 1 goes to Everett Paddock. He gets the win at Watkins Glen International. Ted Burns going to come home in 2nd. Graham Sanders holds on for 3rd. David Porcelli and John Betafer will round out your top 5.
That was great. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely fantastic race from, quite frankly, from front to back here. I'll tell you what, guys, as we wait for the results to become available for us here, are we going to, hopefully we see this every week here, the PM18s, James, 60 cars, a monster 20-car top split, and great racing front to back in this field.
I hope so too, man. This series needs it. These cars are absolutely a blast. And hopefully this is everyone realizing, hey, this car is great. I need to keep running this and run it more often.
Yeah, Seb, it's almost like people joke about the F3 races being a dumpster fire. Maybe people are hearing that the PM18s run clean, they run good races, and why not come run these instead of the hourly train wreck that is F3?
I mean, even as a European purist who likes F3, you know, in those races, you'll always have a big crash in turn 1, and sometimes it's not fun. Those cars, those PM18s, as a European, they're so fun to drive. So if you want some pretty good Class C racing, on either road course or ovals, check this series out because it's awesome.
Let's get your race results here. Everett Paddock, Ted Burns, and Graham Sanders will be on the podium here tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to get all of them in the booth here for the interviews. David Porcelli, John Badafer will complete the top 5 this evening. Andrew Berry, Frank Wynn, Kylo Ciacelli, Nagisa Yashikawa, and Jason Owens completing the top 10. Couple of good runs there. Berry up 5, Ciacelli up 5, Owens up 6. 11 to 15, Mike Collar, Mike Carpenter, who gained 6 spots over the course of the race. Rod Eskew in 13th, Christian Arana in 14th, and J.W. Miller in the 15th position. Rounding out your field here this evening, Christopher Chitterling, Nate Lewis, Chris Preston, Carlos Villa, and Diego Ortiz. So let's see. Look at that. We got all 3 of our drivers here to talk to this evening. So we'll get the instant replays queued up here. And
just before you get to the top 3 in there, Everett got 216 points for this one.
Oh my goodness.
That is a monster. Let's bring in our third place finisher tonight here, Graham Sanders. And I tell you what, Graham, that was a spirited battle there with you, David, John, and even early in the race with Ted as well.
Yeah, it was a good race. That was a really good race. First of all, congrats to Everett on that win. He was controlling that one up front the whole time. So I think he led every single lap. So yeah, that was really fun. Really dicey there with David, Ted, and John. It was really fun, and luckily no wrecks through the bus stop, because there were a few pucker moments for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say the bus stop looked interesting. What else about this newly rescanned Watkins Glen either came as a little bit of a surprise in your preparations for this week, or what was the thought process here? Because we haven't had a ton of time to play around with this racetrack.
No, yeah, for sure. I think the biggest surprise was the mountain of a curb at the beginning of the bus stop. It took me a few laps to figure out where the correct line was, and it seemed like just going to the right of it, like between the little peak in the curb and the wall, was the quickest way. But I launched my car off that curb numerous times in practice. So, but I mean, other than that, I think I actually prefer the new turn 1 curb, and what was it, turn 8? I think it's turn 10. It's the second to last turn. Because I would be dipping my tire in the grass there in turn 10 every other race, it seemed like before, and it's nice to have that little cushion now. So.
Well, it was a very nice run for you tonight, a good points night against a very stacked field here. Congratulations on that, and let's make sure we get all your sponsor plugs and thank yous in here before we let you go.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the guys at Geodesic and all the sponsors, Alpine Stars, GoPro, everyone. And you guys, of course, for the amazing broadcast. And I'm looking forward to next week. Thanks, guys. All
right, Graham, thank you very much. Here, let's bring in Ted Burns, our runner-up finisher here this evening. And I tell you what, Ted, early on, you kind of had your hands full there, battling and picking up spots, losing spots. It seemed like things were really pretty busy there for you behind the wheel there.
Yeah, it was a very intense race, especially that first half. I could tell that Everett was running a pretty low downforce setup because he just had crazy straightaway speed. But once I started battling with Graham and John there a bit, I could tell that they were running quite a bit more downforce even than I was. So I was able to kind of gap them a little bit on the straights there. So I was trying to use that to my advantage and make sure I could get a good toe and stay in front of them. But they were giving me a tough time in the boot because they were all over me every lap. But I was trusted in the straightaway speed and tried to keep it as straight and fast as possible. It was excellent, clean racing.
Well, I was going to say, that was going to kind of be the next question of, once you got the clean air, it seemed like you had that low enough downforce setup that you really were able to pull a nice little gap, and then it was just a matter of being consistent.
Yeah, for sure. It was. I could tell that they were trying to work together, and I could see John or Graham pushing each other down the straight, and I knew that was the only way they could try and overtake me. To, like, if they were to pull out of the draft and go alongside, they had to be pushing each other to try and get enough of a run on me. So I knew that we had a little slow into the bus stop the one time. I think one of them went off, and I could tell that that was splitting them up like that. I knew that was my golden ticket to try and lose them a little bit, and so I just pushed really hard, and I think maybe John dropped back to help Graham in that battle with David a little bit, and that just gave me enough of a gap to break the toe to them. And yeah, after that, it was just trying to stay consistent to make sure I stayed in front of them. But Everett drove a great race, and there was no catching him. I was just able to match his lap times. He drove an amazing race.
Well, it was a good run for you here and a big points night, too. I mean, we hate to talk points early on in the season, but 60 cars across 3 splits, and you were runner-up here in a pretty monster first split. Overall, or average I rating on this one, 36.56. So congratulations on a very solid runner-up finish here tonight. Let's make sure we get all your sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Awesome. First off, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and racing this car. It's an excellent series, and I hope this participation can carry us through the rest of the season. It was awesome to see 3 splits tonight. I'd like to thank Team Downforce Racing. Don't have any of my teammates here in the race with me tonight, but I was able to get some practice in with them, and it really helped me try and seal that in. Also like to thank Premier Racing Setups for making this one fast car.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the time here, Ted. And let's bring in our race winner tonight, a guy ho-hum, fastest in qualifying, leads through turn 1, and then nobody wanted to play with you the rest of the night.
I needed that. I needed one where I was off by myself. I was looking behind me. I'm like, more carnage behind me, please.
That is exactly what these guys were saying in the booth with me here, that you were kind of licking your chops watching those guys battle as hard as they were. Is it almost distracting to when you're watching the relative bounce around and the positions are changing and all that kind of stuff, or were you able to just keep things glued out the front of that car?
You know, what's funny, it wasn't distracting until Ted broke away from him, and then I was like, oh man, I got to start hitting my marks here.
Looking at the points here tonight, 216 points after that one. That is an absolutely huge number to put up in week number 1. What are you thinking here as we hit the rest of the schedule? There's some new stuff that we haven't seen in, quite frankly, in a while, if ever. There's some of the returning favorites, Spa and Phoenix, whatnot. We're going to Brands Hatch. We're going to Summit Point. We're going to Interlagos. This is a very different schedule from what we've run over the last handful of seasons.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, I hope the crowd stays thick like it is tonight. That just makes it fun, and all these tracks, a bunch of great racing tracks this season. So it's hopefully I'm this fortunate at every race, but we know it's 12 races, a lot of stuff's going to happen. So really looking forward to it.
All right, Everett. Well, thank you very much here. Let's get your sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you roll on out of here.
Well, I appreciate that. But I want to thank the teammates, Fabio, Martin, Scott, and Ann for their help with the setup, and then you guys, Chris, Graham, Sebastian, for the help with the race. You guys put on a great show. That's what brings everyone out. So. And thanks to the community managers for the great job putting the schedule together this year.
All right, Everett, thank you very much here. We appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. And I'll tell you what, boys, as we get ready to roll on out of here, absolutely incredible racing we've had here tonight. Let's start things off with a wild finish in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series. Then we come here to Watkins Glen, one of the first broadcast races for the new and improved, newly rescanned Watkins Glen International. And it absolutely did not disappoint here, Seb.
Firstly, I want to shout out Al French and Miles Morse, who respectively won Split 2 and Split 3. I think those low split guys also need some more attention, so I decided to give them some. And wow, I mean, tonight didn't disappoint here in Ezra, even though I was kind of at the back. And right there for this race, that was just amazing seeing all those great battles and the respect given to each driver. That was just amazing. I really missed that, and oh man, it's so good to watch those races. It's so good.
Yeah, this one was a big time blast full of fun here. James, as we look ahead to the schedule, next week we head off to Spa. Possibly another big participation night with how close it's going to be to the holiday, some people already having off. We could see another pretty monster race next weekend coming up at Spa.
I can't wait. That track is going to be even more draft heavy, which means we might just have an even bigger pack than what we saw tonight.
Expect chaos. Chaos.
Yes, that is a very, very good way to put it. All in all, a fantastic night of racing. Julian Altina picking up the win in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series by 5/1000ths of a second. If you didn't watch that broadcast, go back and check that one out. At least the last handful of laps. They were 4 wide for the race lead with 3 or 4 laps to go. I just absolutely incredible. And then the PM18s put on a great show here, had us on the edge of our seat for the entire show. But with that, we are done until Monday night when the iRacing Silver Crown Cup Official Series returns to the National Racing Network. Coming up on Tuesday night, it'll be Tear It Up Tuesday for Snydersville Raceway's Dirt Series, the big blocks versus the small blocks. Love that we have dirt racing back on NRN again. That is absolutely fantastic. And then Thursday night, we're right back here. Again, only one race, though. The Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series is off the next 2 weeks for the holiday season. But we'll be right back here from Spa for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. For Sebastian Kinder and James Watson, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure having you hang out with us here on a Thursday. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe wherever you are. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.